For those folks with pending change of status application to E2 investor status, how do you prove your legal status in the USA while your change of status application is pending? Your legal status in the US is controlled by your I-94 arrival record. And that's the document that's granted to you when you enter the United States with a valid visa. The border CBP officer would issue that I-94 record. And nowadays, it's an online digital record that you can print out from the CBP website. Now, if you are in the United States and you encounter an immigration official that questions your lawful status in the U.S. and wants a verification that you do possess valid legal status, and you have a pending change of status application to E2 investor. So you had a prior visa status, such as when you enter as a B1, B2 visitor, or you had an F1 student visa status. Now, if that status remains valid, meaning your prior status, such as student visa status or B1, B2 visitors visa status, then what you would do is show the immigration official your valid I-94 record for that B1, B2 visa status, F1 student status, or an H1B work visa status, whichever it may be. If it's still valid, you would present the I-94 arrival record for that visa status, as well as the entry visa stamp that's in your passport. And that could be expired. That's okay, because your lawful status is controlled by the I-94 record, and as well as your valid passport photo identification. So that would demonstrate your lawful status in the United States. However, let's say your original status, whether it be B1, B2 visitor status or F1 student status, has expired while your change of status application is pending. So your status was valid and you apply for change of status, which is considered timely, and you are allowed to wait in the United States for the change of status decision. So until you get the E2 change of status approval, you don't have a new I-94 that indicates your new status. So you're kind of like in a pending situation. Now, in this kind of situation, it's a little bit tricky because technically you don't have legal status because the prior status has already expired, and then you have filed a timely change of status to E2 investor. Although you're allowed to stay here, there's not a concrete proof of your legal status in the US in this moment. What you want to do is provide as much information to the immigration official to show that you're in good faith compliance, meaning that you previously had lawful entry, so your visa and your prior I-94 record, okay, showing your valid B1, B2 visitor status or valid student status. And if it's student status, you also want to have the prior I-20 form in conjunction with the I-94 form, as well as F1 student visa. And then you also have available to show the official receipt notice called Form I-797C, the receipt notice for your E2 change of status application. That form will indicate the filing date of your change of status, and it should show that you timely filed the change of status while your prior status was valid, such as your B1 status or your F1 status or your H1B or some other non-immigrant status was valid when you apply for change of status to E2 investor. And the case is pending. The receipt notice will have your case number, have your name, your company name, and that will indicate that you are properly in the US waiting for your change of status decision. And typically, although that is not a receipt notice is not evidence of legal status in the US, it shows that you're in good faith compliance. And once your change of status is approved, then there would be a continuous evidence of your legal status without gap. As long as there's no other negative factors, normally they should allow you to continue to stay here and wait for the change of status, as long as you are not working without authorization and otherwise complying with your non-immigrant status. For more information regarding the E2 investor visa, please feel free to visit my website, e2visalawyer.net. I have a ton of free information, including 28 frequently asked questions and answers, as well as an ebook that will answer most of your questions.